Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Adams Brothers Podcast. Happy Hump Day to each and every last one of you out there watching in Facebook and YouTube land. Welcome back to the hottest podcast in the Tri-County area here of South Florida. We are joined here this evening with Commissioner Latoya Clarke. She is the City of Sunrise Commissioner who was elected in November of 2024. And she is now the current commissioner in the beautiful city of Sunrise, Florida, elected to seat A. So we'd like to welcome Mr. Latoya Clarke back to the Adams Brothers Podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yes.
Thank you, the Adam Brothers. And thank you so much for having me back on the podcast. It's been such a whirlwind of a time since we last spoke in October till now. I really want to just say thank you for being a part of my journey to earning the seat at in the city of Sunrise. You were definitely one of the podcasts that really got a glimpse about me and got me out there. So I really want to thank you.
Thank you.
I think we lost a connection.
Yeah, we had lost your connection for a moment.
You froze up a little bit there, but you're welcome. I think you were thanking us for being on the podcast, and you are very, very welcome. We're happy to have you back here as the commissioner here. The last time you were here, you were running for commissioner. You were out on the campaign trail. You were very, very, very busy, and I used to send you texts, and I didn't always get a text right back because we know you were busy. So I just used to pull up on you. I said, I know where she's at. I'm just gonna go right over there and pull up on her, and I'll get that answer from her one way or the other. So
I know those 14 days were brutal.
I know. I saw you out there, and it was hot out there on that campaign trail, and I tell you, it was something.
But there's a benefit for that, and the benefit is really getting to know the residents. Really and truly, it was a really direct contact to get their feedback and to hear their thoughts directly and in a filtered and unfiltered way at the same time. And it was really that engagement that really kept the momentum going in terms of just getting the direct feedback from individuals. And whether it was good or bad, but I learned a lot. I tell people all the time that the one beautiful thing about running for commissioner was really hearing everyone's voice, because you never really think about certain things because it's not directly affecting you. And being able to get that real interaction from individuals was really crucial.
Yes, absolutely. It's good to meet people out on the campaign trail. You hear some good stories, and you also hear some sad stories as well. And there's a lot of good people out there in the city of Sunrise. I know I'm very familiar with Sunrise, and I'm sure that they are very, very happy to have you as their commissioner and on seat A, on the dais at seat A. So Commissioner Clarke, tell us, what was it like your first 90 days in office? What was the experience for you?
My first 90 days was really about getting to know the players in the city, right? So we have 5 charter officers, which is the police chief, the fire chief, the city clerk, the city manager, and really getting to know who those individuals are, what areas of operations that they really worked in, and getting to see the different staff members within the actual city, learning the different reports that are coming out, learning the budget, which was really a fact-finding opportunity for me in the first 90 days, is really getting my feet wet of learning the integral parts of the city that I really didn't necessarily know before.
Right. And that's always a learning experience. And for any new incoming commissioner is to, get in and get your feet wet. So absolutely. So what was one of the things that was a little challenge to you? Like, what was the one thing that when you first got elected that was that kind of caught you off guard a little bit, so to speak, or that was kind of challenging to you?
Well, the first thing that was challenging to me was the fact that I didn't know that the next day you actually became commissioner. I thought I had like a grace period of time. No, but the next day you wake up and everybody starts calling.
You froze up again.
If you're just joining us, we are here with Commissioner Latoya Clarke, City of Sunrise. I think we have lost the internet connection there.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she'll realize it and probably come back in here. So just stay with us here. I'm sure she'll be back here momentarily. So again, if you're just joining us, we're here with Commissioner Latoya Clarke. She is the commissioner-elect with the City of Sunrise. She was elected in November of 2024. And she was elected to a 4-year term. And
we had her on our podcast actually.
Back in October?
Yeah.
October or November.
Yeah, and she laid out her
plan
for when she got in office, and she was very confident that she was going to win.
Right.
And she did win. So I'm quite sure she's trying to connect back. So just bear with us.
Yeah, just bear with us. Sometimes these internet connections can be a little unstable.
Yeah.
So, we all know with how internet happens. So
that's why when we come on, we make sure we be a little late, maybe a minute or two late sometimes, but we just try to make sure that everything is up to par and all the connections and everything is good. So just bear with us while we wait on the commissioner to come back in. Just want to say also next week, we're going to have next Wednesday, we're going to have Commissioner Ben Preston, a Vice Mayor Ben Preston, joining us next week on our podcast next Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. next Wednesday. And hopefully next Thursday too, which is Juneteenth, we can have, we got some more stuff in the works. Hopefully we can have person can confirm and we'll let everyone know at that time. But again, next Wednesday, we're going to have June 18th. We're going to have Deerfield Vice Mayor Ben Preston.
Okay, we see Miss Clarke joining us back again. There she is. We got her back here. We knew you'd come back. I don't know what happened to the internet connection, was a little unstable there, but with the last thing you were saying were that you were
she didn't know she
being sworn in the next day. Your microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yeah, there you go. We can hear you now.
Yes, I didn't know it was next day that I would actually be sworn in. And that was a big challenge for me because I had to prep everything for like the next day. I thought I had like a month to get myself situated, and January would have been the sorting. But no, it was November.
Yeah, I know here in Deerfield, they give you I believe it's 2 weeks, I believe it is.
I know, right? I thought so too.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks. I believe it's 2 weeks because I know, we had 3 new members actually on our commission here in Deerfield Beach that was sworn in at the end of March.
Oh, 3. I just know that you had a mayor change. I didn't realize that. And I know his seat, but I didn't know there was a third person. Yeah.
It was the mayor. Actually, the mayor was actually the District 4. The new mayor was actually the District 4. So, he was, in theory, he was new to the mayor's seat. And we had 2 more commissioners, Shaneski and Mr. Tom Plott. here. So yeah, we had actually, it was, in theory, three new people, and 2 more seats will be up in 2027.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Miss Clarke, how much is the budget? Just off the top of your head, you don't have to be exact. It is the 2025 budget.
The 2025 budget hasn't been approved yet. We're working on it now. We won't know until
2020.
September.
Okay,
Yeah,
2024.
Yeah.
This is okay. That would be the 2024 budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it has.
And-
We are going to go through a rigorous budgeting season. As you know, a lot of things are changing. A lot of
Mhm.
grants that we used to have is not going to be there anymore. So it's going to be a very interesting budgeting season.
Yeah.
I'm
Also,
sure.
do like in Sunrise, do the employees tend to stay for a long time, or do you have if you know a real high turnover rate?
Not a real high turnover rate for longevity. So there's a lot of individuals in the city that are 20 years, 30 years that are continuously going. There's a lot of that. But when it's come on to like new hires, their tenure is a little bit different. It's shifting. But when it comes on for longevity for individuals who have been in the city for a very long period of time, there's a lot of 20 years. There's a lot of 15 years and up. There's a lot of those happening in the city.
Okay. And while you were on the campaign trail, and now that you're the new sitting commissioner, what were some of the concerns? What were some of the things the residents were concerned about while you were on the campaign trail, and now that you're in office right now?
So one of the biggest things that were happening was housing prices, the ability to afford their housing. That was one. Then there was the other issue of fixing up their housing. That was another thing. Coding was a big issue with the city for business owners and for residents. And then there was the need for feeling identity in the community. Being able to be represented was another big issue in the community as well.
Okay, what is the percentage of minorities in the city or in the district, if you know, ballpark?
So it's approximately like 1/3 Hispanic, 1/3 Blacks, and the rest is 1/3 Caucasian, and the rest is other. So it's approximately a makeup of like 1/3 of everything.
Okay, and as far as development, how much is Sunrise built up in so far right now, and as far as how much are they built up, pretty much ballpark reference?
So we're built up a lot, but there's a couple new projects that are coming up into the city of Sunrise. I mean, we have the fact that we're going to build on 68th. We're going to build some housing projects there where we're going to have a couple of apartments that are going to be built, approximately around 200. That's going to be built on 68th and Oakland Park. Then we also have a project coming on Sunrise and Sunset Strip, another group of apartments that are coming there. There's currently apartments that are starting to be built on behind where Home Depot is on University. So we do have a couple of projects that are going on in the city in the near future. We also have a hospital that's going to come on as well. We have we have Baptist Health, and we also have Joe DiMaggio and Broward combining together to create another emergency standalone facility there as well. So we have a lot of projects that are going on in the city, and they're exciting. It's going to bring a lot of development and opportunities and jobs to the community as well.
Will there be any workforce housing included in these new development areas?
Yes, definitely workforce housing. Just the one on 68th and Oakland Park. I do know that there is definitely a portion of that is going to be parceled out for workforce. There's another project that's happening on Sunset Strip that has a workforce element to it as well, and affordable housing too, a portion of that as well. The one on the deal on Sunset Strip and University, that hasn't finalized yet. The one on Oakland Park behind Home Depot, there is no um, there's no contingency on that particular project. That's just a straight
Yeah.
apartment complex.
Right. Now, Sunrise has some of the most beautiful parks that I've ever seen. Your parks are the top 5 in the nation. I ride through them all the time, and I look at them, and where we live, I could just hope and pray that our parks would ever look that good down here. Not to say that they most of them aren't, but
yeah,
the parks.
Where do you live?
We live in Deerfield Beach.
Deerfield has that one park that I like. Got to give credit now. That one park that's on Power Line.
Yeah,
That's
Jason Hillsborough.
Quiet Waters Park.
Waters. Yeah, that's the county.
That's the county park.
It's in Deerfield, but it's county ran. Yeah, Quiet Waters is nice, but we got some nice parks here.
We have some nice ones here, but they need a little work, and then they need upgrading. A lot of those parks were they upgraded through grants? Do you know? If you know.
Sorry. A dual process. So most of it has been from the city because that was one of the projects that they really wanted to really invest in making sure that the community had a safe place for them to actually play for youth. So a lot of it came from the city, but there are some elements of it that are grants as well.
Okay. Yeah, you all have beautiful parks there, man. I can't say it enough, and I even take my grandkids there. So I love
the Village Art Plaza.
Sunrise. Kudos to everybody, the Parks and Recreation Director and the grant writers and all of those the community development or whatever departments are involved. Kudos to them. They do it. Outstanding job.
Definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, that department really has credited to great work in terms of making sure that the parks are well maintained, making sure that the parks has upgraded elements, and making sure that we see things that are even beyond what other parks have, right? So our futuristic elements, such as having a art plaza park that is going to also have like a restaurant in it and being able to cater to other needs as well, is really a testament to a forward thinking of the commission and all the other individuals that partake into that.
Yeah, and Sunrise has came a long way because I'm old enough to remember the days of, I don't know, I'm quite sure you'll probably hear this name, John LaMello. He was the mayor back when, and I was in probably middle school or high school. But Sunrise, my dad used to listen to this station, WIOD, back in the days, around the late 70s and the 80s. My dad used to listen. And every time you turn, he had the clock radios scheduled to come on to get up to work every morning, maybe 4:30. And all you would hear on the news, as I can go back and remember it, reflect back now, you would hear Sunrise Mayor John LaMello. I mean, that was a name that was just, I never met the guy. I always knew from just going back, like I say, I'm old enough to remember, his favorite song was Frank Sinatra, I Did It My Way. I used to see him. He was a very flamboyant mayor back in the days, very flamboyant, and he loved Frank Sinatra's song, I Did It My Way, but he was always in the news back in the days for most of the time, some good, a lot good. And from me as a kid, just going back, remembering a lot of negative things were back in the days. That's why I say Sunrise has came a long way, and it came on. A lot of progress was made on the former city manager, Pat Salerno, I believe. Yeah, Pat Salerno. Yeah, he made a lot of progress in the early 2000s, I believe it was around the early 2000s.
So, the Sunrise Musical Theater was in Sunrise, and, Sinatra actually came there. So I actually do love that song too. It's a really good, catchy song, and it does elements of it that really shows, the way how back in the day and how life is kind of now. So it's a really good feel song. But yes, a lot of progress has happened in the city in terms of development. I mean, Sawgrass happened, the ability to have a corporate park happen, the ability to have Metropica happen, a lot of, to have the Panther here, to have the stadium, 20,000 people sitting in one, building. That is a lot of great work that has happened. And it comes with a lot of forward thinking, like I said before, in terms of making sure that we're making the best investments, because it's good to have a lot of, people talk about a lot of businesses that are happening as well. And it's about having the right fit for the city. What can really develop the city, attract the most people, where your residents can actually live, work, and play and enjoy the city in a great way. And that's really the ultimate strive for any community, to really have all of that in one area where your residents don't necessarily need to drive 30, 40 miles to actually get to work.
Right. And another question I wanted to ask us, because I love the development, and hopefully the Panthers can pull these next two games out.
They will.
They can pull these next two games out and bring it on home for the back-to-back. Go Panthers. But one question I wanted to ask, how sound is Sunrise Reserves? I know you knew, and but how sound is it? Is because I always ask this question, Commissioner Clarke, in hurricane season right now, and this is a time I know it always comes up, and it's going to be questions definitely our elected officials here going to have to figure out too. We here at hurricane season again, and I just wanted to know how financially sound is the reserves in Sunrise.
So we have a very healthy reserves. A lot of it is in bonds, so we're pretty stable in terms of financially. But when you ask about hurricanes, what specifically are we talking about in terms of hurricanes?
Yeah,
season now, so might as well we addressed it.
Yeah, I know a lot of here. The debate here has been whether to keep putting extra money in the reserves for the hurricanes. When we had the hurricane here Wilma in 2005, it basically almost depleted our reserves, and then a little bit of poor management at the time. The next thing you know, they had to lay off a few years later, about 5 years later, and we, at our old city manager, Larry Deaton, he had our financial reserves high. So the debate here is whether to keep putting more money into the reserves or give the residents back money. Some of the money back, like a tax break, a tax cut for them.
Okay, so in terms, our tax rate in Sunrise is relatively low, one of the lowest in the actual state. So that is one area. As it pertains to really helping during hurricane season, there's a lot of programs that we do to really help these seniors, one, get prepared for hurricane, right? Because that's one of the crucial things. You have to be prepared. You have to make sure you have enough water, you have enough medication, getting that education out, and to really deploy the resources to really help them get that information out is one of the key aspects. And then there's the other aspect of it, like after we have a hurricane, whether or not we're going to really help the residents really build upon that. And so we do have plans in place that in the event that we have a catastrophe that happens, that affects us, that we do have a plan in place of how we're going to actually help the residents rebuild on what they currently have. And some of that is already, pre-planned in terms of what we're going to do. And then there's other things that we're going to have to vote, because, it's a case by case essentials of what's going to happen and how we can actually help, because certain things we can't really help with, right? FP&L, it's really not the thing that we're going to do. When it comes on to your homeowner insurance, that's another aspect that comes in it. So it's really about caring about the residents' well-being, and how that's really going to affect them is our target area.
Yeah, and that was basically my question. You answered that, and that about, would you have enough reserves? Basically, I guess the question I should ask, would you have enough in your reserves if a catastrophic hurricane had hit? Sunrise? I guess, but you answered that. You
Yeah.
you answered it all in that one question.
Right. And now if you go through Sunrise, we're also, we're trying to help making sure that we're cutting trees back, making sure that we're cleaning the swales so that we can have, proper drainage that are happening. So all of these things are working in line to make sure that by the time, should we have a hurricane, should we have excessive rain, which is another thing. If we have excessive winds, we're making sure that all these potential things that could go flying is not flying. And in the event that our drainage is backed up, we're trying to clear them from now so that we can make sure we have a good flow of everything that's going on, and making sure that we're checking what our canals look like, and making sure that we're reviewing our disaster plan so that we're prepared and not getting prepared in the terms that we have something happening.
Yeah, and how did you fare? Matter of fact, since you said about the drainage, how did you fare? How did Sunrise fare with the heavy rains that we got last week and the week before? Because Deerfield Hill was, I took videos and pictures, but it just took a little while for the water to recede down. But how did Sunrise fare?
So knock on wood, I did not get one report of flooding. And, usually, even before I was a commissioner, I would have gotten calls because I'm involved in the community about flooding, and, residents would call me that it's at their house and what am I going to do? But I didn't get one phone call about flooding, and I was driving around and I saw none. So I'm happy about that.
Almel Todrowski said he got so many calls. He said time the rain came down. I was looking at the meeting last Tuesday of last week. He said, because it was, to live
was a
here
lot
as long
really
as
quickly.
It was a lot
really quickly.
And it was overwhelming. But Mayor Todrowski said that his phone went to ringing. Time pretty much, the rain pretty much came. So I just always, I just wanted to know how this Sunrise fared, but you answered that. Thank God.
Yeah,
knock on wood.
There was a time I would have had a different answer. But really and truly, we have really, it's one of the things I also, ran on, making sure that our infrastructure is really taken care of. And that is something that they have been really working on. And I'm really proud of that.
And you have some good employees out there that work for the city of Sunrise, and they go above and beyond the call of duty. I know that personally. Shout out to the city of not Deerfield Beach, but Sunrise.
Deerfield shout out to Deerfield Beach
City of Sunrise employees. Kudos to you all. You work very hard. The perception is city workers doesn't work, but that's not true. I know that.
No,
not to be a fact at all. We do work very hard, very, very hard. And
you guys are the one behind the scene that really deserves a lot of the credit.
The unsung heroes.
Yes.
When I look at those reports and I look at all the projects that are happening and where those projects are getting done, I am really happy, because I am that person who will drive by just to make sure that it really is happening. But yes, I am really happy to see that, there's a real interest being going forward, and just to see how everyone is diligently working. I am just super proud of the city.
And a lot of the general employees, a lot of people may not know this, but when you hear first responders, you think of police and fire. But during like a hurricane season, when a hurricane comes through South Florida, you have the water and sewer departments out there. You have all these other departments out there. They're first responders. They're out there cutting trees. They're clearing the trees out of the roads so the police and fire could get through there. A lot of people don't know that. The water treatment plant operators, they work 24 hours a day. They work around the clock. They're there 24 hours. So when you think
they're not off for a hurricane at all. They're
never off. They're always there. I used to be a water treatment plant operator myself, and I know on the midnight shift that they're always there, and they don't get enough credit. We are first responders, and we're out there with the cops and the police clearing the roads for the first responders to get in to save lives. So kudos again to the water and sewer department, all the departments, parks and recreation, everybody that's involved in cutting the trees and helping make Sunrise safe. So thank you very much. And they're coming up on new contract negotiations. Will there be some money to give the employees?
She's not gonna answer that.
It's budget time. They get ready to do budget. So I mean, they if they have to plan for it,
I have not seen the actual finalization of the budget yet. As you know, we can't really talk about it
Right.
Yeah,
until
exactly.
we're
Right.
on
Right.
the
Right.
dais.
Right.
Exactly.
You don't want to violate the sunshine law, so
I
we get it.
cannot violate it.
Yeah.
No. So, before we let you go, and we want to thank you for coming back. First of all, we were talking off air,
Mhm.
and I told you that my brother Wayne here is running for commissioner here in the city of Deerfield Beach in
2027. It start
2027.
next year. You start campaigning next
Right.
year.
So, what advice, as a commissioner, you're a sitting commissioner right now, a newly elected commissioner, what advice will you have for the next city of Deerfield Beach commissioner in District 2? What advice will you have for him?
So number one is I want you to, I would recommend really getting involved in the city. Like, you have to know the key stakeholders. You may not know integral of what's going to happen, but you at least know the players, who they are. So that's number one. Number two, I would really invest some nice quality time with your families, right? Really weed out your friendship scale, because running for a commissioner and sitting as a commissioner is a very interesting game of life, where your friendships change, your family dynamics change. There's a lot of rules that you have to follow, and it kind of becomes a very strained relationship. So I would really highly encourage that you really build on that and work on the ones that you're going to keep, and the ones you're going to let go, and the ones you're just going to have to understand that you fall somewhere in the middle. So really build on that. And then I would highly recommend that you develop a key circle of individuals who are going to work on your campaign. They don't all have to be expert in anything at all. Some people, you just need to be there to make you smile every day. That's going to be key, right? Because it's going to be really invested that you have people that you can rely on, and because you can't be everywhere, you can't remember everything, and you can't do everything. So I would recommend that you really keep a circle of individuals that are close to you, no more than 5, because you can't keep track of more than 5 individuals, right? So those are the key things about campaigning that I would really work on. I know people talk about raising funds and doing all these things, but I worked on a very skeleton fundraising campaign, because I'm not really good at asking for money. But I think that having those things are important, because people will sell your name before you even get to them, right? So the key is to really make sure that your name is being known, and that is something that money cannot buy. Money cannot buy your reputation. Money cannot buy your personality. Money cannot buy the ability to connect with individuals. So knowing really what your residents needs, being able to connect with them, and making sure that your core group of individuals is strong. And I think those are the only things that you really need to be really, really successful. All the other things that people are going to tell you about, I think is fantastic. It's great. I heard them all too. But they did not necessarily fan out in the best way for me personally. I kind of ran my own game using those core things. Once I realized that what was important was people and the residents. Rest of the stuff, if you ain't there, it's really not that important. You don't need to be at every event. You just need to make sure that you're at key events, making sure that you know your audience. You don't need to go everywhere.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. I a lot of that I will definitely. You made some very key points that I have already said to myself. Trust more than anything. Trust the people around you, because it's always Judas that come around you. Like you said, friends, people. You're definitely gonna have to find out who they are, and which I pretty much know. I've been sitting back waiting. I mean, just sitting back watching for the last few years. Just everything that you say, and like I say, I'm not gonna even say no more. I appreciate everything you just told me, and I've been taking the advice of a lot of people have talked with me, and a lot of people might think that I'm not listening. I listen to everyone that I come in contact with. One thing for me, I'm built for this. I'll say that, and I'll say it again. I'm built for this. I've been here all my life, so I'm I'm built for this.
Good.
I'm
And
built
the
for the
next,
criticism. I'm built for the criticism and all. I mean, it comes with it.
Gotta have broad shoulders.
And I do.
Yeah.
Trust me.
it is running a campaign is a very lonely task, and I did not realize that, and I think I said that's the last time, is I now take um full respect for people who put themselves on any kind of ballot to run for any kind of office. It's a really, really stressful, daunting task, and you look at it on the outside, but when you're in it, it's a whole different ball game. So I really now credit everybody, anybody, whether you are good or bad, whether you agreed or not. I give you credit because you put your name out there. And so I try to tell everyone to always remember your why. Why did you decide to run? Right? Why is it important? Always remember your why, because every decision that you make should always stem back to that why. And so when I am like voting on anything and or thinking about anything or even saying anything, I always go back to what my why is. What is that? Why is that important? And is that still relevant? Because sometimes you have to adjust your why. And people say, oh, you flip flop. No, it's not a flip flop. It's just that some things that was relevant in 2010 is not relevant in 2025.
That's true. That's
right?
true.
You have to be able to make the adjustment to be relevant that to the needs of the residents, because the key is the residents, right? It's not about me personally. It's not about what I want. It's about what's going to be for the residents. How is that going to impact them? How is it going to benefit them? That is really what's important. And so my why has always been people centric. And I always go back to what my why is and make sure I stay true to the why at all times.
And these podcasts are very important. Like you were saying that you're not very good at asking for money. So when you're out on that campaign trail, when you come on podcasts, or like we have a large following from all over the county, all over the Tri-County area here. These podcasts they make a difference.
Yes, they do.
They make
people
a difference.
Think they don't.
We've helped a lot of people get elected into office, and we will pat ourselves on the back for that, and
bought them exposure.
Yeah, well, I knew seeing you and just doing some research on you that you would be a good candidate, and I wanted to help you personally, try and get you elected, and coming on our podcast, hopefully that helped. And you wanted to come back on here and you wanted to thank us. You sent a text out. You said, "Hey guys, I want to come back on your podcast and thank you. You guys were very important in helping me get elected." And that's why I say podcasts are very effective.
Yeah, they're very effective. And when I talked about having the core individuals, what's important, right, and really staying true to your why, it's important to also go back to when you have reached a certain level and remember the people who helped you to get there. Don't be selfish and ungrateful where you have arrived. Now you can't say, hey, hi, Mr. Adam Brothers, how are you guys doing? Come back and pay homage to those who really help you along the way and show the importance of it, because this also helps you be as relevant and as important and stay connected to the community as well. And I think if most of us was having that type of a grateful spirit, we would have been in a better position as we are now. But I feel as if that for me, I'm always going to stay true to who I am as a person. And that is the type of person that I am. I try to always remember everyone in terms of how they have helped me. And if I can ever help them in any way, shape, or form, I always reach back, because I have, through your platform, I've reached people that I would have never probably met, but they have heard me and have seen me and get to know me a little bit better. And I appreciate that. And I hope that one day I may be able to return some favor for you too.
Yeah, and like Daryl said earlier, a lot of people don't want to come on podcasts for some reason, but they don't understand. They rather go on national news. But you look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump went on a few podcasts. He went on the wrestler, The Undertaker's podcast. He also went on, I can't think of the guy, Rogan. He went on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's podcast. He made so many inroads, and he even said that himself, that that he reached a lot of places where a lot of our politicians, and let me say this, a lot of our African-American politicians, Commissioner Clarke, we reach out to them, they will respond back and say, well, how can that benefit me by coming on there? It's about really it's not about benefit, and it's about, like, you're coming on here. We're here trying to introduce you to the people that maybe don't
Our
know
followers,
you,
right?
or people, her constituents or his constituents that don't know them and beyond. And like I said again, Donald Trump went on all kind of podcasts, and that showed. And I just wished Kamala would have went on some more. She went on Shannon Sharp's, but I think, with her late start, which wasn't her fault, but if politicians don't understand, if they come on these type of podcasts, these podcasts, if you look at the views of a lot of podcasts, look at their views, they reach a broad audience. And I just hope our politicians in the coming years will understand that and realize that.
That is so true. I went to an event a couple months ago, and there was a podcast host that was there, and he's from Jamaica. Now, we were just taking pictures, saying hello to each other, and I thought absolutely nothing of it. I am sitting in church one day, and one of my church member comes up to me and says, "Latoya, oh my gosh, I saw you at this event," and she just went on and on and on. And I'm like, who did you see that with? And why did you, like how, because I totally forgot all about it. But the fact that, podcast, you get to repeat it, right? So you may have missed this episode. You go back and you watch it all over again. And then you're like seeing all these different things that you haven't seen before. And so she was able to see a podcast that was aired in Jamaica, completely unrelated to any religious aspect. I wouldn't even think she would have been interested in watching this in any way, shape, or form. But there it goes that she was able to watch it. She told all her family members in Jamaica to watch it too. And it just went on. And it elevated his podcast. It elevated what he was doing and the contribution he was making to Trenchtown in Jamaica. And I thought about how important it is that sometimes we think these small stones don't mean anything, but these small stones are part of a bigger stone, right? And so just because it chipped off on one little area and you only seen 10 people, those 10 people are connected to 10 other people, they're connected to 10 other people, and it keeps going on and on and on. And so we have to remember to be appreciative that in Jamaica, we say every little muckle, every mickle, muckle, right? We have to be careful that we don't forget the small contributions because they are part of a greater audience. And so, yes, I agree. She should have, being able to go to places where your viewers may never watch the news, right? Your viewers may never listen to the radio, but you're reaching a segmented part of a group of people that I would probably never reach and never meet because I am not connected to those individuals.
And you'll be surprised how many times I'm in the store. I'm out walking. People come up to my parents all the time, and they will say, "I'm so proud of your." They'll say boys, and I don't have a problem with that because we in the South. They'll say, "I'm so proud of your boys. I'm so proud of your sons. I'm so proud of them." Or they come up to me sometimes wherever. A lot of people, I have no idea who they are. And they come up to me and they say, "Look, white, black, Hispanic, it doesn't matter." They come up to me and they'll just walk up there and they're like, "I love what you and your brother do." And that's what I'm saying. I knew the power of the podcast, but I didn't know the real true power and the reach of the podcast like I thought I did. And that's why I say in future elections, when I get elected, I'm going on everyone's platform. Whoever want to talk to me, I'm gonna be totally different. And I say this now, and I'm not gonna flip flop. I'll go on whoever podcast, Republican, Democrat. If I'm here, I'm elected, I'll go on whoever podcast. Because as I told you, I'm built for this right here. I'm built for this. So I'll go on whoever because I'm gonna be truthful and I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm just gonna always be honest with the people.
And just to name a quick
and that's
few,
the thing, to be true to yourself, right? So, when you are elected, you represent Democrats, Republican, Independents, wherever you fall into the category. Or people who don't even vote. You don't have the choice to say who you're representing or who you're not representing. You represent everyone. And so, yes, going on every podcast, sure, everybody needs to know what your intentions are. Everybody needs to see what your heart is. Everybody needs to see what your stand, because I'm representing everyone. So therefore, I need to know what everyone wants, what their needs are, and see how that can be impactful to everyone.
Yeah, and don't ever lose sight of that too. That advice, what you just said, that is great advice. And I think if because like a lot of people, they get elected, and I know we're gonna let you go, but a lot of people get elected and they get the big head. They think that it's bigger, that office is bigger than them, and they don't understand that office belongs to the people. No, you're not gonna make a decision that's everyone's gonna be happy with all the time. But I tell you what, I think most people, after they meet me, when I win, and I'm speaking it into existence, they'll say, one thing about him, he's honest. He's not gonna flip flop. He's not gonna tell you. He's not going to run. He's not going to hide. I'm going to bring a whole new something totally different to this city. I'll make that promise right now, and I stand on that.
Yeah. And, the thing about honesty is that there are some hard truths that sometimes people don't want to hear, right? And it's being able to really speak the truth with the understanding of the level of who you're speaking to, right? Because being able to really say the things that really matter and break it down to a granular level where everyone can understand is a gift. It's a heart, and it's something that sometimes we are not always receptive of, but it's something that you need to know. I always tell people that just because I don't like it, just because I don't want to hear it, doesn't mean I don't need to know the information. I still want to know it. I'm not going to agree with it, but I still want to know. So I want to know everything, because that piece that I don't want to hear might be the piece that is missing for somebody else. And so you have to still be able to be receptive to everything, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yes. And just a few people, politicians that's in office right now that appeared on our podcast for the first time were Abby Ajayi. She's the new
tax collector.
Harold Pryor, of course, he's the state's attorney. Greg Toney is the sheriff. Joe Scott, just to name a few, they are all right here. They started out right here on the. Matter of fact, Greg Toney was our first guest that we ever had on our podcast. Greg Toney. And he always, anytime we reach out to him, some people may not like him. That's their
business.
That's their business, not ours. But they always come back and talk to us, and they always say, hey, we never forgot where we started. We started out, and we see a guy on here right now. His name is Charlie Hall. He ran for the Broward Clerk of the Court. I believe that's Charlie Hall.
Was that Gerard's brother?
No. I don't believe that's him. That's Charles Hall. He ran for
was it the clerk of the courts?
Yeah, I believe that's him. If that's you, Mr. Hall, just let us know. Yeah, hey,
hit a thumbs up. Yeah,
thumbs up. But those are just some of the names that started out here on our podcast, and
they never forgot us.
And they never forgot. And hopefully one day we'll see you as the mayor, or state official, or even on the federal level. So
you're not gonna stop here. I can tell.
No, it's in your blood now. It's in your blood. I can tell
how you're talking on there right now. This is just
in your blood.
A stepping stone for you. And whatever you decide in the future, the Adams Brothers podcast gonna be right here for you.
And one last thing I want to say right quick. I know in college you passed active listening, because whenever someone speaks, you never interrupt. You'll always wait until they finish speaking before you speak, and you're not one of those commissioners that cut you off and they'll try to overtalk you. I absolutely love that about you. Your active listening is going to take you a long way. So thank you, Commissioner Latoya Clarke, City of Sunrise. Thank you for coming back on our podcast.
You're welcome here. Anytime.
Thank you. Anytime. Call me back. One plug though. We have Caribbean American Heritage Month. This is the month of June. We're having the first ever Caribbean American Heritage Festival in the city of Sunrise. It is this weekend. I know it's Father's Day weekend, but it's this weekend on City Park on the east side of Sunrise. And I'm inviting you all to come. I know the comments is, what about Juneteenth? Don't you worry. Juneteenth is next week, Friday. We're having an event again. And that will be also on the City Park on the east side. So
that's good to hear. I'm glad. I'm glad that you did say that.
You said that's Friday?
this Saturday is the Caribbean Heritage Month, and on next week Friday is going to be the Juneteenth event, and it's the first time that we are going to have Juneteenth off in the city of Sunrise too. So kudos for that.
That's true.
Yeah, really.
Kudos to the city officials and city elected officials and the city manager for giving the employees Juneteenth off. Some people might not think we need it off, but it's welcome. Thank you.
Yes, we gave out a proclamation last night, and it was really touching to see how people were impacted and reacting to that. So kudos to the entire commission and the entire team for just really acknowledging and respecting what is solar.
Well, keep up the good work, Commissioner Latoya Clarke with the City of Sunrise, Seat A, and all of your colleagues there at the City of Sunrise Commission, the mayor, the city manager, all of kudos to everybody out there at the City of Sunrise. Keep up the good work. It's a beautiful city. If you've never been in Sunrise, take a ride through there and just look at the city. It's beautiful. So, Commissioner Latoya Clarke, thank you very much for joining us, and we hope to have you back sometime in the future.
Yes.
Thank you. Anytime.
Yes. And everyone stay with us. We're going to be back in about 5 minutes with a pop-up podcast.
Ooh, nice.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.